explosions. Welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? I can see a lot of people in the chat. Awesome. Don't be shy, say hi. Everybody's welcome here. How's the music? I'm trying out the new guitar playlist. In OBS, it always says that I should bring it down, but when I do and then I rewatch my streams, you can barely hear the music. Maybe it has something to do with the headphones that I use. But yeah, anyway. Hey Jace, hey Petru, hey Gal, Raphael, Toffee, Sam, Animation Kinematics. Awesome. New people, old people. Peter's here, hi, starting soon. Doing great, how are you? I'm good. I changed up my stream schedule and I actually prefer it that way. It's Friday today in New Zealand, morning, 6:45 AM. I'm a little bit late to the stream, but we're gonna work on this character regardless. I hope you can forgive me. Folks, looking forward to this session. Awesome. The character looks great. Thank you, Sam. Hi, usually streaming here every Thursday, so it might be Thursday for you. Yeah, I stream every 2 weeks. For me it's Friday. Some people it's Thursday. Hi Juliana. What is your pipeline of making ice? Sure, I can share it. Hi Виняяк. Артём, привет. Wow, this music is trippy, isn't it? Anyway, let me know if you can hear the music at all. So this is a character that I started a few weeks back and been going back and forth on it with feedback from some people. And it's been great. The concept is by Hunter Gage, just like I specified here if you want to look him up. He's an awesome 2D/3D artist. I believe he worked for Blizzard. Yeah. So today, let me decide what we're gonna do. There's still a lot to get done. I guess her shield would be a good thing to start on, but I also got some feedback on the cape on how I can improve it. That's a big one as well. Also, last stream you didn't see her with the full color, so here she is. I added it in between the streams, and yeah, I feel like it's getting there. Evan, hello. Awesome. So, some of the key elements that we're missing, this triangle thingy, the braid thingy. Pardon my vocabulary. I'm not very well versed in like army attire. And the shield, obviously, and the gun. The rest seems to be in place. well, some metal parts from the hard surface as well, but I leave them for last because I don't enjoy hard surface as much. I'll still make them. Hi Layla, hi Sheriff. How is it going? Tell you what, let's start with the shield, because it's a big missing piece. So how would I start that? I'll analyze the concept and try to imagine what's the closest shape my brain can find to it. Might be easier just to start from the sphere, and I'll explain why in a second. Also, we'll keep it symmetrical for as long as we can. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just drop them in the chat. Also, I just realized, completely flew out of my head, my name is Layla, I'm a 3D character artist, and I stream here. Also, I'm losing my voice. If you're wondering how I'm flattening it out, this surface very fast, if you go to transpose tool and then hold down Control and select either of the axes and drag it, similar to how you can do it in Maya. You can like snap the vertices to like the grid. This is very similar. So I'm not actually deleting any of the polygons. I am just flattening them out. Oh my, what's this voice today? I recently started watching your old streams. Oh no. You don't have to. You really don't. Okay, now let's... which one do I want? Trim? Yeah, probably trim. I always get them mixed up, no matter how many years I've been using ZBrush. Need reason, but they're very helpful. I'm glad to hear that. I'm just trying to imagine myself like even a year ago. That's probably not a very confident person back then. Hey, if you find it useful, that's all that it matters. I might not listen to music because it distracts me from my voice, but you guys let me know if you can hear it at all, if you like it. If I should switch it up to something more upbeat. So now that I've got this mesh, we might turn off the lines for now, the wireframe. What we're gonna do, let's select these polygroups and turn on double so I can see the back faces. Let's mask it. Unhide. And now we turn on, yeah, symmetry is on. We do something like this. See, it's starting to somewhat look like the shield, whatever it is, an oversized shoulder pad. Animation kinematics. I'm a new ZBrush user getting acquainted with the typical workflow and tool options. Cape clasp was the word you were searching for earlier. Awesome, thank you. Cape clasp? Wow. I'll have to remember that. What's that braid thing then? Do you know that? This one? What was your first experience in game studio? I never worked in a game studio because I work in the animation studio in the animation industry, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I can tell you about the animation industry if you want. Okay. Sometimes ZBrush will be stubborn, will not work, for whatever reason. Why isn't it? Oh, so annoying. It's doing something. Oh no. And that's why we save, guys. ZBrush said not today, yeah. No, I didn't save anything, it's okay. Let's just restart. Oh, Layla, how are you? Looking beautiful today. I enjoy watching your stream, thank you. Hey, practice makes perfect, am I right? Now a sphere, flatten it out, turn on the symmetry, bring in texture. So, you know what we could do? Just isolate this part for now. Save it. Bring it in. Oop. Import. That way it will take up less space. So, and the character can, you know, chill out somewhere. Like here. How to adjust the proportion as per the concept of the character and the concept as the pose? That's a great question. I will usually bring in the concept just like I do. So load it in here. Once you see it in this window, then add it to Spotlight. And you get this huge image sometimes. This thing will scale it down. Bring it over. And that's basically it. Mine has slightly neutral pose compared to some poses that can be done with the character. So I understand what you mean, where the character is like, I don't know, jumping up in the air or something, or running, or I don't know, fighting. That can be trickier. But you can still extract stuff, like information from it, if you bring it to Photoshop and like deconstruct it, of like how many heads, for instance, will fit into the torso, and like the legs, arms, and stuff like that. My first step whenever I start with any new project, I bring the concept that I chose into Photoshop and I analyze it like to the teeth. You know, I want to be very familiar with the concept before I start working on it. So I'd say deconstructing it in Photoshop would be your best bet. Get rid of that. That's normal. What's normal? ZBrush crash? Working with mesh that has thickness is nightmare in ZBrush, so I prefer dynamics instead. It depends on your goal. Right now, I really need this thickness. I prefer to work with it. But for some things like cape and like clothing, when I just start out, I don't have any thickness. So I work with dynamics. So it depends on your case. So right now, it really helps me like get the feeling for the form better, as opposed to like working with one-sided plane, or like even dynamically extruded, subdivided mesh. I don't know, it's just something about it. Knife. Okay. Last time we used knife, ZBrush crashed, so let's save. I'm really glad you're making this, because I'm personally working in a project that involves hard surface modeling, so I can learn a lot from this. Oh, you're welcome. Also, how did you make the gradient on cape? In ZBrush. You just pick the color from the concept. Let's say it was this one. Fill it in. I usually do it with like skin shade or another material that I have. Now there's another gradient. Actually, there were like 2 or 3 main colors that I picked from the concept. Take, well, you'll have a standard brush. Turn off ZAdd, turn on RGB. Make your brush as big as you can. And then like set it to is it doing anything? Oh, light projection. And now do something like this. It will be very pixelated right now for me because the cape does not have any subdivisions. But yeah, basically from afar, that's how you add the gradient. Now let's color pick the final color, which is more of a, what would I call it, burgundy. And yeah, that's how you add a gradient. Okay, back to our shield. Hi, hello. That's where I got stuck last time. Okay. It's cooperating this time. It's good. I think. But how are you guys going? Are you working on anything at the moment? Are you just chilling? I know for some of you it's the end of the working day. For me it's just the beginning. Is this model for tabletop wargaming? No. It's for personal portfolio. It's gonna be a game character, yes. Okay, let's slice it. Mirror and weld. Awesome. Again, same thing as before. Turn on double. Isolate all the parts that we need. Mask this one. Oop. Oop. Turn on local symmetry and turn off dynamic. Just to get the proper like scaling with the symmetry. Sometimes if it doesn't work and you're, I don't know, if you're trying to like scale up the eyes and they're like flying different ways, that's probably because you don't have the local symmetry turned on, and then sometimes you need to turn off dynamic on the top of it. It can be tricky, but once you remember it, you remember it. I know that some people complain that ZBrush is very counterintuitive compared to any other 3D software because it doesn't utilize like many icons. A lot of it is just text. Text. But I personally prefer it that way. I don't know. There's something about it. Makes it stand out from any other software like Maya or Substance or Blender. Let's save again. I just don't trust it. Just chillin'. Oh, cool. Working on some sci-fi vehicles, 3D modeling in Blender. Awesome. Do you enjoy making sci-fi vehicles? Yes, working on a project. Nice. Do you make games? No. I'm organizing ref files. Awesome. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's as far as I go in terms of my organization skills. And then at some point it just becomes like a blur. How many polygons will there be in total? In ZBrush? Millions. In the end, not millions. I don't know yet. I'll need to see. I will make a certain polygon budget for myself, obviously, because this model is gonna be game ready. Maybe trying to think. It's not very complex. It does have a few details like hard surface and stuff. Yeah, I'll need to think about it. I'm still at the high poly stage. I'll have to think about it once I get into low poly. So ask me then. I can say that it won't be extremely optimized because it's for a portfolio piece, not for a company or a game. And those usually tend to be a bit higher poly, unless your whole goal is to make a very low poly model, then yeah, then it's your exercise. But for me, it's just making a pretty game model. That's the goal. Okay, doesn't look like anything good at the moment, but we'll get there. I feel like it should be squished a little bit. Maybe we can zero mesh it a bit to turn wild. Group by normals. Yeah, we can try turning on keep groups and then bringing it down slightly. Seeing what zero mesh will do for us. Not bad. Bring it even lower. Okay, that's fine. So a clip curve will do something similar to what I've shown with the transpose tool, where you like flip it, but it's just in the form of a brush as opposed to using transpose tool. Well, I have a model that I started in Blender that I need to finish. I model a revolver. Nice. Well then, finish it. I know it's easier said than done, but here is the prime opportunity. I feel like whenever I see someone work, I feel more motivated to work myself. That's why I join different streams very often, so I can motivate myself, basically. Then there is this bottom bit as well. Let's insert primitive. This one. Oop, subdivided. A few times. And that's just basically how I approach hard surface in ZBrush. Just sculpting primitives until I get a desirable result, and then you can retopologize it whichever way you want. I know some people prefer to go straight clean hard surface from the get-go. That's just not me. It's more technical approach. But if it works for you, hey, who am I to say anything? I'm not working, supposed to be in university, but I dropped out to study 3D art and animation. That's amazing. I actually dropped, well, I quit school. I guess it's the same as what you mean. I quit high school to pursue career in 3D. Oh, please don't crash. Should just turn everything off apart from this subtool and save. Don't know if it does anything. But yeah, go you. Was it sure? Yeah. I know it can be intimidating, so it's, I guess, important to get some support from loved ones, if you can. If not, then maybe friends, someone will be on your side, because it's quite a, you know, rebellious thing to do. Can be quite scary too. But looking back at it, I don't regret it. Because look at me now. I can chat with all of you guys, and I do what I love. The demo reel, are you planning high polygon? No. I'm planning on low poly, and planning to show off topology as well. Make the vehicles for me and my 7-year-old grandson tabletop wargaming. Oh, that's so sweet. Do you like 3D print them? I own 2 3D printers, I think I mentioned that before. I had to sell both because my apartment was not a very easily ventilated place. And you need that. It's hella fun though. seeing your creations come to life. Okay, so that's roughly the shape of the shield. Flip it a little bit, like so, I guess. Mirror it out. As you can see, I don't really care much for topology at the moment. Mostly for the shape. Okay, how thick are you? My god, it can be hard to control sometimes. I'm 48 from the UK. Awesome. I'm 23, I'm from New Zealand. Well, I'm from Moldova originally, but I currently live in New Zealand. Hence the accent. Sorry for clearing my throat. I'm afraid I'm getting sick. Summer in New Zealand ended quite abruptly. Are you using a mouse or a tablet? A tablet, but also the mouse. Both. Sometimes I get very annoyed with the stylus, so I'm like, okay, whatever. It's usually when I use ZModeler. I sometimes will switch to the mouse. But most of the time, yeah. One hand is on the keys for shortcuts, and the other one holds the pen. Okay. Military shoulder cord identifies rank or achievement color of raid design. Nice. What does the golden one mean? I should write it down. Military. What was it? Shoulder cord? And cape clasp. Thank you for your help. Identifies rank and achievement color or brain design. Awesome. I'm preparing for a Disney internship. Do you think I should add environment to the background, or is just the character itself enough? I couldn't decide how to make the presentation. It really depends on what you're applying for. Are you applying to, like, what is listed in the internship? Also, what do you want to do during that internship? Of course, like, if you end up as like doing an internship at Disney, that's awesome, and they'll lead the way. They'll like help you out. But also, what interests you? Because chances are they'll ask you that. Also, congrats. Sounds exciting. In my personal preference, character with a proper background always stands out more. That is, if it doesn't detract from the character. Usually if it adds to the character's backstory and everything, then it's worth it. But if you're not very passionate about drawing backgrounds, yeah, I wouldn't advise to push yourself too much. I'd rather tell you to make like 2 more characters as opposed to spending that time on a background. Really depends on what interests you. Basically, that's the answer. But I'm sure you'll have lots of fun there. Oh wow. Let me just read the whole chat and then I'll continue. How many days to complete at least 1 character in ZBrush approximately? I get this question every time, and to complete the high poly? For this character it took me... well, I'm still working on a high poly as you can see. But to get to this result, maybe around 20 hours? 20 hours of work, so divided by 8 and you get like basically days in the studio. This surface is not very concave, it's more of a convex shape. I'm gonna try and bring it out a little bit. It's more like it. I'll finish it tomorrow, too tired from work. That's fair enough. I get very tired from work as well. Okay, it's roughly the shape that we need. Oh, I cannot catch up with the chat. It really depends on how complex the character is. It can vary from a week to months. Yeah, that's my usual answer. Thank you. Lacking figuring out your workflow sometimes in the beginning. I do 3D print then. I do 3D print them. I own an FDM Ender 3 which prints really well. Nice. That's the plastic one, the one that just extrudes out, right? Because I own the laser ones that like dip the plate into the laser basin. Those are stinky. Have you worked at Veda Digital who did the Lord of the Rings? No, but I have lots of friends who have currently worked there. Have applied, and I've actually been invited, but it just didn't work out timing wise, and my whole family lives in Auckland, which is the biggest city in New Zealand, even though Wellington is the capital where Wera is. I just didn't commit to moving. Plus they primarily focus on very realistic stuff for movies, and I'm more interested in stylized or semi-stylized characters. So, just not for me. Oi, India, Brazil. Now I use pen for everything, even for topology. Yeah, if it works for you. I use it for topology sometimes as well. Again, it depends on how my wrists are feeling. Sometimes you can get like wrist cramps. Military, I cannot pronounce that. Roped shoulder cord. Distinguishment or appointment. Okay, I'll copy that now. Research that after the stream. And the whole hour, was it? Just chatting and making one shoulder thing. So how about we move on? That's roughly the shape. I might go in here and do a little bit of a bend. I can do bend arc, which is basically a bend deformer, similar to the ones you can get in Maya or Blender. The reason why I saw like a gap in the middle, ZBrush does that when you have symmetry turned on. So turn off symmetry, do it again. This one will basically control how squished your bend is. This one will control the bend itself. This one will rotate, I think, the bend orientation. So I don't usually touch that. Maybe I'll squish it just a tiny bit. Accept. And here you go. A block out for a shoulder pad or a shield. It's ready. Just a second. Another trick I wanted to show you. Let me make it a bit more obvious. Let's say you got a surface that needs to be flat, but it's currently a bit wobbly. So I just gonna make it wobbly on purpose. So if you just go over it with a smooth, what will end up happening, you'll smooth it out to like a flat plane. But what if you wanted to maintain the curvature? Start smoothing it with shift and then let go of shift. And you'll see that what ZBrush is trying to do is to maintain that curvature. And it does something similar to what polish does in here. So again, if you just smooth it out like this, flat plane. If I start smoothing and let go of shift, smooth. Just like that. Really neat trick. Now we'll need to cut up some parts here as well. Or was it knife? Slice. Maybe we'll add a few subdivisions. Turn off dynamic. And also I'm just gonna duplicate it and hide it, just in case. Sometimes ZBrush, when it exceeds the memory allocated to history, it will delete the history and you will get stuck with a subtool without any undos. So yeah, be mindful of that. So it goes like this. Let's turn off the lines. I can do better, I think. Yeah, that's better. Mirror, mirror and weld. Now, what if I go to geometry and modify topology? Unweld groups border? What I need? Yeah, maybe. Let's mask the border and polish it. Awesome. I will get a gap. Cleaner way to do that would be split it. Let's polish it. No. Let's close holes. Maybe just do a dynamesh at the higher resolution. Delete, dynamesh. There you go. Got some space in between them. Perhaps it's a bit too big, but I'll worry about it a bit later. And as for this guy, so close holes. For the time being, mirror and weld. Mirror and weld. So what's going on here? Auto groups. Cool. Thank you for your quick response to me. You're welcome. Did you ask something? Oh, how many days? Yep. Thank you for your quick response. You're welcome. Oh, maybe you were referring to Sculpt Twitch. Then I'm glad everyone is supporting everyone in the chat. Okay, anytime. So, away from ZBrush, what are your technical and creative inspirations? Technical inspirations. ArtStation? Jokes aside, yeah, maybe like sports. I really enjoy watching very athletic people perform different exercises, and I strive towards it as well. And my sports life, I guess. Please don't crash. And the way it helps me is by studying anatomy of like very athletic people, sometimes in real life. Or even training certain muscle groups will help me understand them better when I sculpt them. So that could be an inspiration. Hi Layla, hi Eugene. What is your process for saving versions or iterations? I do not save Z projects with history unless I want to do like a cool time lapse for Instagram. Just because Z project ZPR files tend to weigh so much more than Z tools do. So I tend to save a version every couple of hours of working. Or if I'm like at the end of the day and I'm finishing working on the character to a certain degree and I know that I haven't done as many like drastic changes, then I can override the previous version because I know that most likely I'm not gonna return back to it. So save Z tools, not Z projects, unless you want to keep the history. I rarely do because I commit. Commit to it. Why don't you want to work? Is it because it has hidden geometry? Nope. Oh well. Let's keep it as that. Polish some of these edges. Or sharpen them, should I say. Okay. That trick is useful when smoothing face topology. Yeah, it is. Hello Prashan. Will AI replace 3D artists? Maybe in the very far future, but neither I nor you will be around to see that time. I don't think so. No, I'm not too concerned with AI tools. If anything, they will become part of the pipeline, so artists will have to learn how to use them. Like to generate concepts or iterate on concepts, or even concept artists will need to learn AI tools to implement them into their workflows to just be more efficient. That I can see. Fully replacing artists with AI, don't see that happening. Especially big studios. Or any studio that aspires to be a big studio. They are not gonna be stupid enough to use AI in their work. If you researched anything in AI ever, you'll know that there are some lawsuits happening right now and have been happening for the past a year and a half, that AI became a huge thing. Yeah, lawsuits about like what lets you use it for your commercial purposes. Like, it's still in this gray area where, oh well, it creates original art, but this original art is based off millions of other artists' IPs, right? So my point being that I don't think that big companies will use AI because it's too risky and nobody wants to get involved in a scandal. Unless they somehow rewrite it to not use this database of the artist's artworks, then we'll see. But for now, not too concerned. Sorry, I've been on a bit of a rant there. Oh, but if I could add anything, you shouldn't be striving to be a 3D artist. And I know it's a bold statement to say, but I don't strive to be a 3D artist. I strive to be an artist, regardless of the media. It can be sculpting in traditional clay, can be drawing traditionally. It can go beyond those constraints as well. It can be music, it can be like theater, it can be anything. It's just the way you express yourself. Because if you're stuck with the mindset that I'm just a 3D like topology or rigging artist, I believe it can be a recipe for a crisis later down the line in your career. If you only viewed yourself as like this cog in the machine that can perform one task and do it very well. I don't know. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. You replied too, so thank you as well. Oh, thank you for making me feel better. It's okay though, I get confused with the chat sometimes, so it's my bad. Lovely work. I like your custom modeling menu. How do you add text between the sub-menus? That's a great question. How did I add the text between the sub-menus? It was like 3 years ago, so give me a minute. I think it was this one. When you go to configuration, enable customize, then you create your own menu, you start dragging and dropping stuff into it, and then in custom UI, you get all of these like empty templates, I guess. And I think custom subpalette is something you can drag onto your palette as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. As you can see, I hope you can see it, and my face is not blocking it. Don't remember how to rename it. Yeah. I believe that's the way I did it, and there should be a way to rename it. I would research it, because it's been, just like I said, a while since I've done that. Let disable customize. Get back to our sculpting. AI is just copying IP and putting it in one picture or 3D model. Do you stream independently from Pixelogic? Okay, to add to your statement, yeah, basically AI is copying IP and not good. Unfortunately, very few people outside of 3D field or 2D field, any art field, understand that, which is worrying because it creates this idea that now anybody can do art, but nobody really understands how. Or they just don't question it at all. They're like, AI? Oh, whatever. Do I stream independently? I am planning on streaming independently, and I do have my YouTube channel that I used to stream on independently. I really don't do that because of time, but I am planning on bringing back like more personal streams, and I'm currently working on a Discord channel as well, because you guys convinced me that it's the way to go, and I've recently been like getting into Discord more, and I do enjoy certain features. Like there are some more casual ways to stream where you can jump onto like a voice chat with me and ask questions directly. Might not be as popular as like streams like these, but I don't think it matters as long as a few people show up. So yeah, planning on getting this Discord thing set up in 2 weeks time, because I'm going on break from work, so I'll be able to dedicate some of my free time to this project and anything else that I wanted to work on for a while. Okay, let's we're subdivided now. Yeah, I don't think it's connected even. Wait, Arnold? Oh, wow, there's some sort of invisible polygroup. Delete hidden. Weld points. Dynamic. Awesome. Let's do this. Candle, haha. Yeah, it's just a collage of IP. Love it, great thought. I agree, I do understand. Oh, thank you guys. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, basically like that. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I see it. Thank you for the answer. You're welcome. Perhaps Control Alt. Well, sorry, I'm a bit behind the chat, so what do you mean by Control Alt? I got questioned that how can I fix my topology if it's messed up, like pores or small holes appear in my model? Pores or small holes appear in my model. I think I know what you mean. Let me imitate that. So you're probably working with... Oh wow, what's this? Wait. Working with Dynamesh. I Dynamesh this even like lower. Let's say I start doing this. So at some point I'll get a very thin walled geometry. Then I Dynamesh maybe a couple more times. And you see what's happening? Holes. We don't want that. No, no, no. So let's say you ended up at this... and you ended up in this situation. The best way you could do is take that inflate brush and try to sort of fill it in until you can't see the background. You see, I can still see the background a little bit. And now do Dynamesh again, and it should fill up the holes again. And now you can pick up a brush like Trim Dynamic, turn on Backface Mask, and with Alt, you will, instead of trimming, you'll be adding topology, or like adding the clay back onto the model. This way you can like fix a hole. Be mindful of what's going on in the back as well. So smooth it out, trim, smooth, until you're back at where we started. But basically, yeah, inflate up the area where you got a hole. Hopefully it's not too big of a hole. And then re-Dynamesh it again, and then try to polish it up with trim dynamic and brushes like that. For now, let's go back to where we were. Now I'll use the dynamic thickness, I think. Huh. What's going on here? Interesting. Oh, right. Might have created accidentally like support loops that are too close to the edges, and now my dynamic subdivision thing is freaking out. Yeah. So I cleaned it up. Now, how many does she have? 3 of them. Okay, 1 up, 1 down. Oh, by the way, have any of you guys seen Dune yet? The second part? I just went to see it last Friday, and it was amazing. It was just great. If you are a fan of Star Wars, I feel like you'll enjoy it. If you're not a fan of Star Wars, you'll enjoy it. Just really good CGI, acting, practical effects, and like everything in between. Direction, music. Oh, music. Really recommend the movie. I've read the books as well. Okay, so we need some of those stars that we can steal from her hat, I believe. Her cap. Come on, come on. Let's duplicate it. I hate when ZBrush does that. Just flies away. They might be a little bit crooked though. Okay. Do you ever use morph target, and when did you use, if you used? Yeah, I use it a lot, especially I think I used it last stream to show you how you can add changes and then erase changes with morph target when you like sculpt different details on a layer, and then you turn off the layer, turn on morph target prior to the changes, then you turn on the layer, and you can basically use morph target as an eraser of the layer. Doesn't sound fun, but it actually is a very fun feature. yeah, I use it for usually small changes that I want to test out. If, let's say, I'm adding some sort of folds or, you know, basically big changes to the model. Because morph target is basically a blend shape, right? So you need to be mindful not to change your topology. I don't think morph target will work if you change the topology, because it relies on remembering the vertex order or some sort of topology order. Not sure how ZBrush works exactly in that regard, but Maya would work in a way that it would remember the vertex order of your model, and then it will look for it again once you use the morph target brush or blend shape. So try not to change it. But yeah, I use it a lot in like exploration stage, especially. Let's add a very rudimentary sword. We can do that by scribbling some mask on the geo. Looks like a cross. Extracting it. Delete hidden. And let's unmask the previous one and let's save. Oh well. AI is just wrong. Pixelogic, I read that AI can grab about 20 billion pictures. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good. 20 billion pictures of models already in society and IP connected. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that if they change it, potentially, later down the line, it will be implemented into the workflow of 2D and 3D artists. Some things are just like that. I'm not calling the shots. I'm not gonna make it happen, but if it does happen, we might need to learn it. That's all I'm saying. That sounds great, Layla. What sounds great? Oh, wow. Cool, let's make a community. Yeah, let's make it. I will make it. And then next stream in 2 weeks, I'll let you guys know. Because by that time, I better have that community ready to go. How long does it usually take you to create a real-time character? For instance, the one that you're currently working on. Igor is asking. So this high poly, again, took around 20 hours. I don't usually make game-ready characters. I make characters for animation production. So think cinematics or animation shorts and stuff like that. It will depend on whether your character is a main character, a background character, a mid-ground character. Do they speak? Should you worry about their, like, basically details, clothing, everything like that? Lots of questions to ask. If it would be a main character, it can take up to like a month and over a month sometimes with revisions that you get and feedback that you get. So yeah, and then rigging is a whole other thing that you pass on to the rigging department midway through your workflow or your pipeline. So there's no right answer for that I can give you. I'm hoping to get the low poly done in the next 2 weeks time, and then hopefully move on to texturing, baking, and stuff like that. I'm also planning on putting this character in Unreal Engine, and rigging her in Character Creator 4. That's the plan. It's not gonna be done in 2 weeks though. I can promise you that. It's too big of a ask. AI is like sitting in a classroom in design school and nicking everyone's ideas. Sort of, yeah. Are you that quiet in real life? I am especially quiet today because I'm losing my voice due to cold. But yeah, I'm not a very loud person. I can shout, but who would want me to shout during a stream? I don't find AI impressive, something we as species should not have invented. Well, we did, just as we did weapons and many other bad things. Just have to deal with the consequences of this invention, right? I don't worry about AI. Magnus Carlsen plays at the top level and defeats people who use AI to cheat at chess. We can and will perform art at very high levels, and will continue to succeed and innovate in art. That's the spirit. That's the spirit and outlook that I try to have as well. Do you still dynamesh when adding small details, or is it only for doing the shape? I don't dynamesh when I add details, no, because it usually tends to eat up on my details. I only add details once I get like the proper topology, usually after I've done proper topology, actually. At least like a ZBrush one, you know? I tend not to add too many details in Dynamesh, but that's my preference. I like to add details on zero-meshed subdivided mesh, and I add them on like a high subdivision level, as opposed to using Sculptress or Dynamesh too much. Just like you said, I use Dynamesh for like blocking out stage. I am back. Welcome. Anyway, hey Layla, how's your past few weeks been? Thank you, Scroll Reaper. It's been busy at work, but not too bad. Yeah, as you can see, trying to squeeze in some time to work on my personal stuff and catch up with you guys. But yeah, it's been good. How have you been? I'm loving the chilled music. Oh yeah, what's playing, by the way? I couldn't hear my voice, so I took out the headphones. Wow, guitar. Is there a way to flatten a polygroup in Z? In ZBrush? Flatten? Yeah, I think I showed it before. Say this is the polygroup. Let's mask it, right? And now you can like either like select an axis on which you want to flatten it, and now all you do is hold down Control and drag one of these rectangles, basically one of the axes, but with the rectangular shape, and you flatten it. The other way would be to just smooth it. That could work. If that doesn't work, trim dynamic or brush H polish. You see, it's somewhat flat, but I'm doing it very fast, so obviously the results are not gonna be great. There are just probably like dozens of ways you can flatten something in ZBrush. Trim dynamic does it more, like, I feel like it's stronger than H polish. So that's another way you can flatten something. Didn't see the first. The first what? Which show? I missed it. Yep, Dune. Oh, you're talking about Dune. Dune Part 2 was great. Some minor critiques and some acting, but overall 9 out of 10 all around. Yeah, really good. I enjoyed it more than the first part, although the first part is necessary to watch to understand what's going on in the second. I believe it is. But yeah, very much worth the watch, worth like $30 for IMAX that I paid for sure. Because I don't go to movies very often. It's a bit of a pricey thing to do in New Zealand. So I only pick like the movies that I want to see and then go and see them. And that's one of them. The shield is looking beautiful. Nice modeling, Layla. Thank you. Thank you. Did you do the back of the eye socket? No, not yet. I can show you. But right now it's just a sphere with some painted on texture. The way I would do it... Oh, I think I showed it before in one of the streams. But I can show it again. Okay. Oop. Mirror node. And I wanted to finish the sword as well. Sorry guys, I'm a bit of a scatterbrain today. What's the fastest way to make a sphere out of it? Pitch. Sometimes ZBrush will be stubborn and will not do what I want it to do. Hey Layla, how are you doing? Hey Houdini. I'm good. I'm good, thank you. Gosh, I'm 18 hours alive. I drank my amount of coffee, but I feel like I'm turning off. Why is it not working? I believe at some point your body will adapt to the amount of caffeine that it receives. So maybe you drank too much coffee too often. So your body is now accustomed to the feeling and it no longer works. Our bodies are very smart. So let's say you have this wobbly thing and you need for it to sit like flush against the surface. So what are you gonna do? you can do one of two things. You can save. That always comes first. And now you can leave two things on, the ones that you want to use as surface that onto which you're gonna project the Z tool, and the Z tool itself. Now project something like this, and boom, it sits on the surface. The other thing you can do is Z project like this one, and the only thing it does differently is that you control it with a brush. Oh, here you go. Same result, maybe a little bit more crooked. Also, it will depend on the angle that you're projecting it from. But either way, it works. And now it sits flush against the surface. Some of the proportions are a bit off on my sword. More like a toothpick than a sword, to be honest. I know Unity, but I'm planning to change to Unreal Engine. Cool. I mean, both are great. And the more you know, the better. So you're gonna show the entire workflow for sculpting this character for an animation-ready model? I will show the sculpting part of this process, not for topology or anything else. If that's something you guys want to see, again, as I said, I'm creating a Discord community, and I'll be posting whips there, and maybe I will even stream some parts. Not the full process, because that would be too time consuming to like stream, chat with you guys, and work. That way the character will get done in like 6 months time, and that's just not what I want. No offense, but nobody wants to work on a project for 6 months. It's just something that ends up happening, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll show as much as I can. What country are you from? I'm from Moldova. Eastern Europe, I believe. Is it? Is it considered? Yep, Eastern European country. Glad to hear things going well and you're able to squeeze time for personal projects. Barely, but yes, I am. I've been well, being kinder to myself about portfolio and not doing the super hard grind, and making time for personal pet projects as well. And also picked up chess, which I think is a really nice break from art, especially since it gets my imagination working. Sometimes I imagine how a chess game would look like animated, and I let my mind wander. That sounds so wholesome, and I applaud to that, because that's the goals of any 3D character artist or any 3D artist, any person who's obsessed with a special form of art or any form of anything, basically. Anyone who gets carried away and gets overwhelmed with work, that's the recipe for getting distressed, is just picking up another hobby, letting yourself rest, being kinder to yourself, all of those points. So I'm glad you're doing that. I should be doing more of that too. Just bravo. Okay, where did the stars go? Okay, here they are. Fill it in. I didn't fill it in. Now let's go to geometry and do an edge loop with zero polish, which will create like an outside extruded loop, which might not be exactly what we want, but we'll see. Insert, and now dynamic. Awesome. So now you could do is actually dynamic. What? Fire. Let's extrude polar group O. Now let's crease polygroups and add some bevel. Do that. Now crease polygroups again and turn on dynamic subdivision. Now I believe I'm gonna switch to this material because it's easier to see. Yeah, something like that. The sword might be a bit too long though, so bring it in ever so slightly. And now we can fill it in. Yeah, this sword will need a little bit more work because it's still looking like a toothpick. But that's the block out stage, so not too fussy with all the details. Okay. Now I prefer to stay at home and watch. You mean about the movie? It's a breath of fresh air for epic movies and cinema. It's set a new standard compared to the basic Marvel movie blueprint, for sure. I really feel like acting took a major role and not the flashy sounds and whatnot, though CFX were amazing. Yeah, was it Hans Zimmer who wrote, or like was in charge of all the sounds and stuff like that? Haven't watched Dune 2 yet, but I'm just curious, Layla, did you love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Is that the latest one? My partner watched it, and I think I watched parts of it on the plane, and I saw the otter die, and I cried, and that's all I remember from the movie. To be honest, the animals were done amazingly, but that's all I remember. I'm not a huge Marvel or superhero movie kind of gal. Yeah, not really for me. I used to love it. When I was a teen, my favorite movie was like Thor 1 and like Iron Man 1. But I mean, you kind of grow, your tastes change. It's normal. I would be very happy if you could show me again. I don't know exactly how the eye socket is made in the correct way. The eye socket or the eye itself? Oh my god, ZBrush, stop doing that. Do you need the eye socket or the eye? Trim curve and knife curve, what's the difference? Oh wow. Let me answer some questions because we're nearing the end of the stream, and let me just... New folder. Field. Transpose set. Alright, okay. Let me quickly fix that. Because we scaled it up, the thickness is now different, I believe. Oh, and we didn't scale up the... Oh no. I forgot these guys. Trim curve and knife curve, what's the difference? Oof. No, this is trim. Cuts, it creates like a decimated style of geometry. What was the other one? Knife? It creates a different type of geometry. More of like a quartered one. And don't crash. It might crash. That's on me. But that means I can answer all of your questions. So yeah guys, be very careful when you're using trim curves and knife curves, and save often. ZBrush meta is always save or die. What's ZBrush meta? Do you know if there is a better workflow for projecting various meshes with the same subtool other than hiding one by manually and then projecting the details from hide to remeshed? I mean, the meshes are close enough within the same subtool, so simply projecting causes meshes intersections. Yeah, I know what you mean. Set me a bit far back, but it's okay. Nothing I can't fix. Fine. Let's just chat for now, and then I'll have to gap in 5 minutes. A better way would be playing with projection distance. This is basically the way to control it. Also masking the areas that you don't want to project on also helps. The other thing you could do... What would be the other thing you could do? Yeah, I usually try not to change the mesh too much between like reprojection and like your low poly that you're projecting on. Like high poly and low poly. I try not to do any drastic changes before I project. And then this distance helps. I don't really play much with projection shell, but I have seen people use it. It might also yield different results. So just playing around with these settings and masking out areas, like whenever I make a character, I usually have those intersections in like tight areas, like if fingers are too close together, sometimes I'll get errors in here. And sometimes I'll get like errors in the corners of the lips. So I masked all of those areas out prior to projecting because I know I'll have problems there. And then I either invert the mask and try a different setting, like different distance, or I just leave it as is and like I add in details like manually. Is there other artists from Moldova like us? I'm sure there are. Yeah. Hey, it's Layla, but it's Thursday, not Monday. This seems suspicious. This is a conspiracy and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. You'd better, you know. There is something very fishy going on. But yeah, welcome. Welcome, Emperor of Cheese. You tend to come in right at the moment when I'm saying goodbye though, so that's unfortunate. Could you list the production workflow orderly in making animation ready model? Not today. Can you please save it till the next time, or you can hit me up on Instagram or Telegram. I reply on both of them. If you need any of my links, here's my ArtStation. I just sent it in the chat, and then if you scroll below my like profile picture, there are all of my social medias. Even Telegram as well. I think that's the first link. Oh, maybe not. Maybe the last link. Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Telegram. Don't follow me anywhere else. I will not respond, most probably. I wish I could answer more and more questions, but I have to get to work. So any big questions like explaining the workflow and making an animation ready model would be saved for the next time. As well as the eye socket thing, I'll get back to you on that. But if you need it like right this moment, just a very basic Google search should get you started on how to do it. Even like buying a model of Turbo Squid, maybe like a $5 to $10 one, and then opening it in Maya, Blender, or whatever, or ZBrush, and seeing what it's comprised of. Usually it's the iris, which is the color part, the pupil, sometimes they can be together, sometimes they're separate. Then there is iris, most often will be connected to, I got, is it cornea or sclera? I think sclera. Yeah, sclera, white part. And then there's cornea, which is an outer layer that sits on top, and that's usually the mesh that is responsible for all of those pretty reflections that you see. But for me right now in ZBrush, it's 2 spheres, so there's nothing to break down. I haven't built the eyes yet. I do it in another software. In ZBrush, all I care about is just them being in the right place and looking pretty. Okay. Oh no. Layla, Glory. Hey everyone. Sorry for everyone who's jumping on. I will unfortunately have to go. But it's been really fun chatting with you all. I hope I answered some of your questions. If not, please keep them for the next time and ask them straight away so we have a bit more time. We had a few crashes today, but I'll not let it get my mood down because we only lost a few minutes of work and I'll be able to work it out. There really is, don't worry. I'm a master detective and nice to see you again, Layla, even if you're a suspect. That's fair enough. Your Discord server? Yes, I will work on it, and next time I stream, I'd better have it ready. And I'll get you the link for it. For now, it's in shambles. I'm still trying to figure out how to assign roles to all of you. I might seem young, but I'm a grandma inside, so be patient with me. I'll need some time to figure out how this Discord thing works. And once I do, you'll be the first ones to know. Not betrayed. Bye bye, Layla. Bye guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.